Okay, so here's some example answers from the practice quiz from Friday. So just go ahead and watch this video and then just kind of compare your answers against these. Remember, there is more than one correct answer for a lot of these responses. So just kind of make sure that your answers have the same structure. And if you do have individual questions, I'll be available. All right, the first question is to find the paragraph on page 2 of your packet that starts with the sentence, "The neighborhood has been emptying of children." Identify the tone and mood of your text. So one part with tone and then one part with mood. And then use the answer packet to kind of organize your response. So for the tone, the narrator mentions words like emptying and haven't had and won't have again, which makes me feel sad. So I'm using evidence from the text and saying how it makes me feel as a reader. And like times used to be better than they are. The houses have also become a place to live after children are gone, so there is a quiet setting. But in this case, it feels like a sad quiet, like times used to be good or fun, but now there is nothing. So this would be the tone, the narrator mentioning words. And then this would be my mood as a reader. Once again, this is the tone that the author is putting out. And then for me as a reader, this is the mood. So just make sure, and that's a 4-point answer. So I have 1, 2, this is part of the 2, this is point 3, and this is point 4. All right, Hannah's parents still live together, and their house feels friendlier than mine. What kinds of feelings and thoughts is the narrator having? And then how do you know? So parents who still live together, which means the narrator doesn't have that. And her use of the word friendlier, which means that her house must feel like the opposite, lonely and distant. So still live is from the text. That's how I know, words from the text. So the narrator must not have that. And then the word friendly is from the text, which means her house must feel different, lonely. So something from the text, and here's the opposite that the narrator is feeling. Something else from the text, the opposite of what the narrator has. So this is how she feels. Next question, find the paragraph on page 3 that starts with the sentence, "The gas station at the corner of Miller and Maple closes, and there's a sign in the windows." That whole paragraph described the gas station and all the problems. What is the narrator's tone and what kind of mood are you in? And then how does the narrator create the tone? So 3 points, tone, mood, and then how. So the narrator describes the gas station and all its problems by using words like, and I quote it directly, "Nothing will ever be built there," "leached," "biohazard." All of these words have a negative connotation. So here's the words, here's the connotation. That's what the the writer is creating. That's the tone of the narrator that the writer is creating. Using words like leached and biohazard, that's negative. So the writer creates this tone by using words with negative connotations. Okay, well, the last part is the mood as a reader. This gives me a feeling of danger or disease as a reader. All right, at this point in the story, where is the most likely place that the narrator has a safe space? Support your claim. There was definitely more than one correct answer for this. Here's just some possibilities. So maybe it is Zolaria, the imaginary place where the narrator and Hannah get to be kids. So I mention the place and I describe a little bit about what that place is. Most likely safe at this point. Evidence, well, the narrator uses phrases like miraculous age to describe the place. Leading me as a reader to believe that it's a place where miracles happen. In other words, only good things, which would make her feel safe. So here's the place. Here's how it's described. Here's how it could make her feel. Another possibility, Hannah's house maybe could be considered a safe space for the narrator at this point, at least. I know we talked about it being a possible conflict later on, but at this point, she's describing the house as friendlier than hers. Her parents are divorcing. That's specific evidence from the text. I'm using background of the character. At least for now, it sounds like a place where the narrator can feel as though her life is normal if it feels friendly, which could make her feel safe. This last one, I took answers from student responses that I would count as correct. So Hannah's dad speaks to her class about how American kids should feel lucky. Why? What core value does he seem to be highlighting? Hannah's dad is from a troubled country where people struggle. There's the first point. So that's Hannah's dad's point of view. He's from a troubled place. America is made out to be a privileged country. So when they get to America, everything is different. So that's how her dad, Mr. Corey's point of view changed. I believe her dad is showing optimism, there's the core value, because he's letting these children know they have it good. He's bringing their attention that America gives them more opportunities than most kids other places don't have. So this person has described what it means to have it good. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 points of explanation. Another possibility, he thinks kids in America should feel lucky because there are some places in the world that aren't so lucky. Maybe the place he's speaking about. So here's 1, and here's 2. If you wanted to, you could kind of go into a little bit more depth about the homeland that he talks about. He seems to be highlighting, okay, and then I mentioned the core value of gratefulness. He's explaining to the class about a country, one he grew up in, that may sound great, but wasn't. There's a little bit more about that homeland. But he's grateful now for being where he is. So hopefully you're getting, by my highlighting, that there's 4 different parts to these answers, which is what would give them the full credit. So compare your answers against these. Remember, especially with mood, that as a reader, you can have different feelings from a text. Just make sure that you're mentioning what the feeling is and the evidence from the text that makes you feel that way.